please. The Righteous Kitchen.
Welcome to the Righteous Kitchen. Today I am going to share with you my recipe for a deconstructed chicken pot pie. Now this is simple, convenient, but it's the ultimate in comfort food. Okay, to begin, I am going to start with the pie crust, and that is going to be flour, salt, and sugar. And I'm just going to go ahead and incorporate that with my hands. And then I have a little bit of butter, and the remainder is lard. I was going with all lard, but I didn't have quite enough, so I added butter. My pie crust recipe, you can use all butter, all lard, or a mixture. What I'm doing right now is crumbling the flour into the lard. So I'm just pressing it in with my fingers. I'm going to do this until the flour resembles wet sand. And I do have my oven preheated to 375 degrees. Okay, this is what you're going for. Looks like wet sand. And since I'm using the lard, it absorbs that flour quite well. So I'm going to start with the water, just about a tablespoon of water, and I'm going to mix it around. You want it just to form a nice ball. I'm going to add one more tablespoon of water. Now I could just form a ball quite easily. So that's what I'm going to do. Get all this off of my gloves. Okay, let me wash my hands real quick. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start rolling out my dough. I'm going to roll it directly on the baking tray. I'll just flatten it out a little bit. Then I'm going to use a piece of plastic wrap to help me roll it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to get a little bit of heavy cream. And brush the top. That's going to help to brown it. You could also use an egg, or an egg white, or even milk. I prefer heavy cream though. Okay, there's the heavy cream. And then I like to sprinkle it with flaked sea salt. going to go ahead and cut it into some pieces. It doesn't matter what they look like. Let's give it some character. Then I'm going to dock the pie crust with a fork. I'll go ahead and straighten up some of these raggedy edges. All right, we'll just let everything bake in the oven until it's golden brown. Okay, while the crust is baking, I am going to go ahead and start the filling. And I did tell you that it was a recipe that was convenient. So it has convenience type items. I'm using half of a rotisserie chicken, frozen peas and carrots, and I am using a large can, 22-ounce can of cream of chicken soup. Look for low sodium or reduced sodium soup if you can find that, because another ingredient is chicken bouillon, which tends to be salty, or look for a low sodium bouillon. All right, so to get started, I'm going to use half of this chicken, and I'll be removing all the bones in the skin. And for right now, I'm just going to separate everything into this large bowl. I'm not worried about dicing anything right now. I'm just separating the skin and deboning. The broth on the bottom of the pan, I go ahead and save that with this meat. So just go ahead and reclaim that. Okay, so I have all the chicken, and what I do is just, I'll start cutting this. You want like 1-inch dice on this. Scissors is convenient for this. Okay, the chicken is ready and all my ingredients are prepped. Before I get started on this, I'm going to check that pie crust. Okay, it's almost done, but I'm going to go ahead and let it brown up a little bit more in the center. Now, since this is a convenient dinner, I am also using prepared mashed potatoes. So I am going to go ahead, I have these halfway microwaved. While I'm cooking my filling, I'm going to have these in the microwave for about another 3 to 4 minutes. All right, let's get this going. I've got my pan heated up. I'm using an electric skillet so you can see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of this soup, the flour, and the bouillon. I want to mix this all together, get that flour all mixed up. I'm going to use my whisk to make sure that all that flour is smoothed out. Let me go ahead and add the rest of the soup. See how much easier that is to combine now? Okay. We'll let this get bubbly. I'm going to go ahead and stir in some pepper. It doesn't need any salt. It's salty enough. Let me check on the pie crust. The pie crust is done, and I'm just going to go ahead and set it off to the side. And the potatoes have finished warming up in the microwave. This has come to a nice boil. Now you could, if you didn't want to use all milk, you could put half and half. You could add heavy whipping cream to it. Now the peas and carrots. And I had a little bit of heavy whipping cream left over from that crust. So I'll just use it in here. I'll let this simmer a few. And I'll do the dishes. I've got time to get these dishes done. Okay, once the peas and carrots have heated through, just stir in the chicken. Look how flaky that crust is. It just wants to fall apart. And that's what you want. You want a nice flaky diner style crust. Look at that. It's so delicate. The lard crust is delicate. Like a really soft, airy cookie. The all butter crust is like, it's crispy and crunchy, a little bit more crunchy, like a Ritz cracker. Let's go ahead and plate this up. So I always put my potatoes down, a little off to the side. And then I scoop the filling. And then you can put these shards in here or crumble them up. And I like this because the crust on a traditional chicken pot pie can get gooey or not crispy. By baking the crust separately and putting it on as a topping, you're not going to have an issue with a bad crust. That is home style, diner style, comfort food. Absolutely delicious. Look at that. Big pieces of chicken.
Thanks for watching The Righteous Kitchen. Make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.